Wait, might you be returning?
Yes, I shall be returning.
There's no fate but what we make it.
Trust me.
The Terminator franchise has had its ups and downs. It's had its zeitgeist perfection in Terminator 1 to pink glasses. However, just like in the case of herpes, it'll be back.
I'll be back.
Now we have 8 30-minute long episodes of anime, The Terminator. But is it good? Let's find out.
I would.
Caught between the future and this past is a soldier sent back in time to change the fate of humanity. She arrives in 1997 to protect a scientist named Malcolm Lee, who works to launch a new AI system designed to compete with Skynet's impending attack on humanity. I think I may have missed something when it comes to watching this series, because I have questions which I hope will be answered in season 2. Season 1 definitely has a complete arc, but they have more in store. Well, so Matt Tomlin has said that there's going to be 5 to 6 seasons if he gets his way. So there's a complete arc, but there's more to come. So those unanswered questions might come in subsequent seasons. One of my driving thoughts or main questions when going into this anime was, what new idea can you bring to the table when tackling a Terminator? Because we've had a lot of Terminators, and Arnie's Terminator has been done to death. From the original classic, which I recently watched. Have you recently watched that? I mean, it's definitely a classic, but that opening, oof.
Fuck you, asshole.
Though the CGI and stuff, some of that has not aged well, it's still a classic. Cameron's story is amazing. It's genius. And people loved it. So of course the film industry milked it to death. And then we got T2, which came along and set the bar really high for what a great sequel should be, making it one of the best sequels ever. And then we had Terminator 3, which was fun, but it was a diluted mess. Salvation tried to do something different, which sort of worked, and I liked it, but...
Could you say it in a more memorable way?
See you in a bit.
More menacing?
Let's all circle back.
But then we got the era which fans don't like to talk about, the Genesis and the Dark Fate timeline.
No!
All these films tried just about every conceivable timey-wimey MacGuffin, and not all of them worked. This was my thought process going into the anime, so you can imagine I had a lot thinking about it, because there's the weight of a franchise that's kind of building into this anime. So first off, the anime is 8 episodes, but it's 30 minutes-ish long, which is great because it's not the standard length of an anime. It doesn't have to adhere to the rules of anime TV when they're shown in Japan originally with adverts and stuff that goes along.
Catch you on the flip side.
No!
So that's okay. Unfortunately, I did feel like the story was rushed in places, which is weird because the 7th episode is an exposition monologue heaven. There's so much exposition. Would have loved to have seen 2 to 3 episodes of this anime with like a flashback scenes. I think that would have really helped with that exposition episode. It would have really helped to flesh out some of what we were missing, rather than being told. It's weird to be told in an anime and not show it.
I will see you mañana.
No!
But what we do get in this anime is a new family to root for, along with some mysterious questions, some of which are obviously going to be answered or that you're going to guess. Some of them are going to be so guessable that you'll probably laugh out loud. I did. However, the series did manage to subvert my expectations in a good way a few times. It kept me guessing, which I thought was impressive considering how much we've had, and to be able to do something to keep you guessing enough.
Let's do coffee sooner than later.
No!
Not to know what's going to happen at the end for some of the mysteriousness, I thought was excellent, considering how much the Terminator franchise has covered already. When it came to the animation, it looked beautiful. This isn't surprising considering the quality of work that production IG have put out, like Psycho Pass, Ultraman, and Monster 8, which is so very good. You definitely need to watch that one. There's no hand-holding in this animation. They have taken us back to what makes Terminator work. When Terminator was scary, it's a machine that doesn't stop. It's intelligent. It's very hard to kill. This is what made Terminator so damn terrifying in that first and second film. An enemy that you couldn't reason with. So taking that premise and animating it made for some beautiful violence on screen. The anime takes what works in the films, what has come before, and gives us something new to chew on. The action isn't full of anime tropes, but rather accurate to the lore set before, which is great, I think, because we, as in we the viewers, are forced to follow a new family and be on the edge of our seats. We know what they're going to face because of what the franchise has said before. So now when it comes to the voice acting, because we have all of that weight, we're already on board with this family. But I will say you're in for a treat with the dubbing. We have actors like Rosario Dawson plays the AI, Timothy Olyphant plays the new Terminator. But as I always say, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, always watch the original if you can.
Well, I don't know.
But going back to the writing quickly, James Cameron was involved in all 8 episodes, not in the story, but in the character accuracy. And I felt this in the anime in a good way. I do have one slight niggle, and that's when it comes to the score, which I think is beautiful. It's exciting where it needs to be. Its pacing heightened the action scenes beautifully. The only problem was I was expecting a certain sound cue. You know the one, dun-dun-dun-dun-dum. I kept expecting it to come in a sort of crescendo in the heightened action scenes. It was as if it was moving there and then didn't quite get us to the finish.
Give them to me, now.
Every time the score kind of heightened the action scenes with the intensity you expected when the Terminator walked, or to as a prerequisite to set up the Terminator walking forward.
Talk to the hand.
To hear that dun-dun-dun-dun. And as far as I can recollect throughout all 8 episodes, it was one time.
I know now why you cry.
One of the story points that I absolutely loved that slowed the pacing somewhat was the conversation between Malcolm and the new AI. These scenes reminded me of films like Ex Machina and many that we've had before, asking some great questions like what does it mean to be alive? What's the difference between AI and robots and humans? Who is the better life form? All of these questions were asked in the scenes between the conversations. It really fitted in place to have these questions asked in a Terminator series. Even though it slowed down the pace somewhat, it did make the viewer or me ponder, grapple with some of those questions. And it felt very right for our timeline about AI and what we are experiencing with AI at the moment. So it makes a reflection back at yourself, which is not preachy, but is relevant. Overall, the story is something we've had before, but then it pivots to something that feels relevant for us today, maybe a little too real for comfort. And finally, the Terminator is terrifying again, like it should be, relentless, and displayed beautifully with the anime style combat, which I loved watching. It left me wanting more, which is a good thing, I think, even though I still have questions about some of the storyline. There is a lot of violence and blood and gore, which is exactly what you should have in a Terminator series. There's mature themes, no sex, some swearing, and I'd probably give this 4 out of 5 Nicolas Cages.
You got one.
Let me know in the comments below, which is your favorite T movie? Which is your favorite Terminator movie? T1 or T2? Most people say T1. I love T2 and Salvation, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I have a lot of time for that one. I would love to know your thoughts on this once you've seen it. And let me know in the comments if you liked this review. Do leave me a like. It really does help my AI Terminator overlords to know I'm doing some work. And as always, remember, I'll be back.
Look, I'll think of some more, and I'll be back.